Our first example of a supporting case where a penalty was incurred within a healthcare organization was in May 2020, when a parent in Omaha, Nebraska filled out a form at the Children's Hospital and Medical Center requesting her child's medical records for personal use. It was found by the OCR that the Children's Hospital and Medical Center in Omaha, Nebraska failed to provide the patient timely access to her daughter's medical records. Failure to provide timely access to these records was a potential violation of HIPAA rights. After an investigation by OCR, the patient was awarded $80,000 in settlement. The next example of breaching the Right to Access initiative is in January 2021. The Office for Civil Rights and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced its 14th settlement. This was the first settlement of the year and took place at Banner Health, which is based out of Phoenix, Arizona. Banner Health paid a whopping $200,000 to settle two potential violations of the HIPAA privacy right to access standard. The first patient alleged that they requested their medical records in December 2017, but received their records in May 2018. The second patient complained that he requested his records in September 2019, but his records were not sent until February 2020. The next case entails another great example of how right to access being denied is a punishable breach of HIPAA. This is a case in 2019 regarding a Level 2 trauma care center located in St. Petersburg, Florida. This facility is called Bayfront. Bayfront failed to give a mother access to her unborn child's medical records until 9 months after the first request. For obvious reasons, this is unacceptable. After 30 days, this is punishable by law. After the investigation by the OCR, Bayfront Medical agreed to pay $85,000 as well as adopt a new plan to settle HIPAA violations within the network. After this, we covered a settlement between the Office for Civil Rights and Dr. Peter Roble in late December 2020. Dr. Roble, who ran his business under the name Elite Primary Care, was prosecuted and paid $36,000 to settle a potential violation of the HIPAA Right to Access initiative. The Georgia doctor's office had a complaint opened about them in April 2019. The following month, the Office for Civil Rights provided technical assistance to Dr. Roble and closed the complaint without any penalty. Later that year in October, OCR received a second complaint alleging that Dr. Roble still had not provided the patient with their requested medical records. OCR opened an investigation again and determined that the doctor's failure to provide medical records was in violation of the HIPAA Right to Access initiative. The patient received their copy of medical records, but only 13 months after their original request. As well as paying the $36,000 fine, Dr. Roble has entered a corrective plan with OCR that includes 2 years of monitoring his activities towards patients. The last case we're covering involves a 5-month gap between a patient's request and the delivery of their health information. In July 2019, a patient filled a request for their records with Arbor Hospital in Massachusetts. Arbor Hospital provides behavioral health science support to patients. After the patient made their request for records in May of 2019, they reached out to the Office for Civil Rights in July 2019. The Office for Civil Rights provided Arbor Hospital with technical assistance regarding the Right to Access initiative and assisted the hospital in anything else they needed. Later that same month, the Office for Civil Rights received another complaint from the same patient regarding the same patient files that had not been delivered. OCR initiated an investigation into Arbor Hospital and determined that their failure to provide timely records to the patient was a breach of Right to Access initiative. During the investigation, Arbor Hospital provided a copy of the requested records for the patient in November 2019, which was 5 months after the original request. Arbor is paying $65,000 in settlement and has to work with OCR to take corrective action for 1 year. We can see that the Right to Access initiative holds a lot of weight and is being newly implemented. Hospitals are suffering from these new regulations, but patients are being better protected overall. Though it may seem straightforward, there are some things to note about Right to Access.